Hey everybody, thanks for coming to watch this show. Today I wanted to talk with you guys about Red Dead Online and discuss if now is a good time for you to get into it. When this first released, I was really let down and immensely disappointed, honestly. I was hoping that Rockstar had learned their lesson with GTA Online back in 2013, when it was difficult to even get into a lobby, and when you finally did, there wasn't really a whole lot to do. And the initial lack of content really caused a lot of people to fall off of that game, I think. So while GTA has probably brought those people back and more than made up for it since that rocky launch, in my opinion, Red Dead Online's launch may still be a little bit too fresh in a lot of people's eyes to give it another try just yet. There are a lot of people I've talked with that have played it. They only tried it for an hour or maybe a few hours, and they gave up on it because it was just boring or lifeless. And they haven't gone back to it because of such a bad impression that first initial experience gave them. But I've stuck with Red Dead Online since it launched, and I can tell you that there's no better time to jump back in or try it for the first time if you haven't. Since launch, Rockstar has added in a ton of new and exciting missions and different things that you can get into. There's different weapons, customization options, free roam activities, and more. Recently, they added one of the biggest and most ambitious updates that they've done, which is roles, which allows you to play in free roam as one of three things. You can be a bounty hunter, a trader, and a collector. You can either tackle all three of these things at once or try to focus on one thing at a time and specialize your character to that role and rack up all the benefits that come along with it. I'll get back to those roles in just a second, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about some of the smaller things that have been changed that have really made the game a lot better. First off, the world feels much more lived in and alive than it did at first. When it first released, it was basically just you interacting with the world. The world wasn't really interacting with you. There wasn't really a whole lot going on aside from just the animals and NPCs. But now there are random events you can participate in, such as like helping a guy fight off a group of bandits that are circling around his wagons that he's trying to defend. You can help stop a runaway carriage before it goes off a cliff or into a river. You can even find like a roving treasure hunter that'll sell you a map to some hidden treasure, and you can find like cash and other goodies in there, and that's really interesting and fun. There's also little games that you can play with other players. You can do poker now, and if you're good at poker, you can actually win a decent amount of money. I'm not very good at it, so I've never won a whole lot doing that, but it's still really cool to be able to do that. It really adds a little bit more to that Wild West cowboy aesthetic where you can just saunter into a saloon and play a game of poker with your buddies. Next, the addition of free roam events has really made for a lot of fun and exciting encounters while playing. You'll just be riding along, minding your own business, hunting, or doing some other activity that you're enjoying, and you can get an invite to one of several extremely fun PvP or PvE events that you can take part in. These include things like archery challenges, where you compete to hit the most targets and rack up the most points using a bow and arrow. You can also do Railroad Baron, which is a really challenging sort of King of the Hill style event that takes place on a moving train. You can also play Fool's Gold, where players compete to seize a set of gold armor that makes them stronger and then try to get the most kills while wearing it. There's also Dispatch Rider, where players compete to deliver a horse to a specific location before anywhere else, fishing challenges, hunting challenges, and so much more. With almost every update, Rockstar adds more events like these, and it just adds to the fun even more. Missions have also been given a real boost in free roam. These existed in the game, I believe, when it first launched, but they've been kind of revamped and made a little bit more interesting. There's new NPC mission givers, and there's new mission types for you to get, so there's a real variety of things to do. They can range from just simple things like a fetch quest style thing, or ones that have a little bit more involved and kind of weird backstories to them, like kidnapping a person and delivering to this really strange backward couple that live in a house out in the woods, and they likely eat the person that you deliver them to, so do that at your own discretion. I definitely did it because they pay more than just about anyone else that gives you missions, so I'm sorry to everybody that I took to that house, but money was good, so what can I say? On top of all this, you can also now do daily challenges, These range from collecting animal pelts, clearing out hideouts, traveling a certain distance on horseback or on foot, visiting a specific location, or just getting kills in PvP modes. Most of these are super easy to do regardless of what they are asking you to do, and each one gets you a 1/5 of a gold bar, the Red Dead Online premium currency that you otherwise have to pay actual money to get. You do get a little bit of that for pretty much every activity that you're doing in the game, but the daily challenges are one of the best ways to do it, because if you log on and just do one challenge a day, after 7 days it'll start you on a streak, and if you continue that streak, the longer you do it, the more gold you get. After 28 days of logging on, which is the max streak you can get, this actually increases your payout to 2.5 times the normal amount. So that's getting you about 3/4 of a gold bar per daily challenge. And there's 7 challenges to do, and if you're participating in any of the roles, you can also get additional challenges. So you can really rack up quite a bit of gold doing it this way, and that really helps out if you're trying to get some of the more expensive cosmetic items in the game. I mentioned earlier about the addition of roles to Red Dead Online, and I want to talk to you more about them now. Up front, I'm just going to tell you guys that you do need quite a bit of gold to participate in these, which is unfortunate if you are just now starting out, because the price of admission is a little bit steep. You need 15 gold bars per role. Unless you're on PlayStation 4, you get the trader role for free, but otherwise you're going to need 45 gold bars to be able to get all 3 roles. Now that sounds like a lot, but as I just mentioned, you do get quite a bit of gold for just doing the daily challenges, and Rockstar also gives out gold bars occasionally just for logging in during a specific day or days, and you can really get a pretty good amount of gold pretty quickly. I've never spent money to actually get gold, and you can see from my gameplay that I have a ton of it now. And so it's not super hard to get it, but I just wanted to let you guys know that you do need a decent amount of gold to start out. So as far as the roles, first off, probably the most accessible and simple one is the Bounty Hunter. It's easy and straightforward. All you have to do is go to a sheriff and get a Bounty Hunter license after you pay him 15 gold bars, and then after that you simply go to any number of wanted posters all over the map in every town and every post office, and you pick a target. Then you go after them and bring them in and get some money for it. It's pretty simple. You can bring them in dead or alive. You get more money and you get a big boost to your honor if you bring them in alive, so that helps out a lot if you're kind of in a hole and you'd like to bring your honor up. The targets get more difficult as you progress through the bounty hunter ranks, but you also get access to new and useful tools as you progress. There's 20 different bounty hunter levels, and as you go up these levels you can get things like a reinforced lasso or a bounty wagon that you can use to bring back multiple targets, because as you progress you sometimes will find wanted posters that require you to bring in 2 or more targets at the same time, which can be difficult to do if you're operating on your own. So a bounty wagon that you can bring in multiple people is very useful. Progressing through the ranks also unlocks some pretty cool abilities and outfits. You can spin your guns and do tricks like that and pretend you're Doc Holliday or Revolver Ocelot. Next we have the trader role, where your camp-dwelling alcoholic Cripps finally does something useful and offers to help you start up a business, where you can bring him your pelts, animal parts, and carcasses, and he will turn them into a product you can sell. If you're at all familiar with the CEO or biker businesses in GTA Online, you'll probably get this one right away, but basically you can just take things to Cripps and he turns them into a shipment that you can sell. And you just take it to a specific spot on the map. If it's further away, you get more money, but either way you get a pretty decent amount, and it doesn't take very long to get a shipment ready to sell. As with the bounty hunter role, you also get access to some pretty neat things as you rank up as a trader, such as a hunting wagon that lets you stash multiple animal carcasses in it, the ability to track while moving fast on foot or on horseback, and a lot of other interesting abilities and outfits and stuff like that. The last role they added is the Collector, and the Collector is my personal favorite. With this one, you're tasked by this roving mystic named Madame Nazar. She's kind of like a fortune teller type woman, and she just roves around on this wagon with this really cool like music coming out of it, and she has all these interesting trinkets and antique collectibles decorating her wagon and her outfit. And she just tells you that if you want to work for her and you can bring her interesting like relics and collectibles that are scattered all across the map. And at first glance that might sound boring at first, but it's actually really fun, and it's great as just like a side activity or something that you can do in tandem with your other gameplay. You can just be like bringing in a bounty or out hunting or something, and you see a dilapidated building and you think maybe there's some kind of collectible there, and you just turn on your instinct and you just go and look around, and you happen to see something that Madame Nazar needs. So it's pretty interesting to be able to do that alongside the other trades or just your other gameplay. So I've had a lot of fun doing that. You can find some really cool things just right out of the gate, but you can also purchase a shovel and a metal detector, and doing this allows you to actually dig for buried things like coins and that sort of thing. This actually surprisingly pays very well too. I believe this one might pay better than all the other roles, or at least in the long run, because some of the collections, if you turn in a complete set of like antique coins or tarot cards, you can get several $100s if not more. So pretty interesting, and I've had a lot of fun. Another pretty interesting addition to Red Dead Online that also came out with the Frontier Pursuits update, which is the one that added all the roles I discussed, is the Wheeler, Rawson & Co. Outlaw Pass. And this is pretty much like if you've played Fortnite or Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the Battle Pass on those games, where you just get various rewards such as gold or outfits or things for your horses, things like that. You just get those as you rank up and get XP. And there's just a free battle pass where you do get a few things without having to purchase this, and then there's the premium battle pass that you can see underneath here, and that actually costs gold as well as the rolls. So this is pretty expensive. It's 35 gold bars, but I do believe you earn all those gold bars back if you progress all the way through this battle pass or Outlaw Pass or whatever, but I do believe you get all those back. But it's a pretty high price of admission if you want to get everything that this update added, so it's about 80 gold bars total that you're going to need. So it's a lot going on, and there is a time limit to unlock everything, so I didn't actually drop the gold for this. I just wanted to see if I could rank up all the way before I spent the gold. But that's pretty interesting that they added on to this game. I'm not really sure how I feel about this going forward. It seems okay right now, but I don't know if I would want them to turn Red Dead Online into some kind of like Fortnite style thing. But while we're on the subject of things that cost money, if you played this game early on, you probably noticed how expensive everything was. A lot of the guns were several $100s, or they still are expensive now, but when it first released, the guns were just way too expensive. Clothes were too expensive. It was like you had to do like 2 or 3 PvP events to even be able to afford like rations for your guy. So they took care of that pretty early on. They patched a lot of that out. There's obviously still some really expensive things in the game, but if you just want to get like a cool outfit for your guy and upgrade your guns, you can do that pretty easily. However, if you want to change the look of your gun, such as like the metal, if you want to turn your gun completely black or silver or whatever, that actually does cost gold. And you can see in this video that I put here that if you want like a completely gold gun, it can just really drain your gold quick. And it's kind of ridiculous the amount that they charge, but I guess that's just their way of monetizing this game, because all of these updates are free. But there is, as far as the in-game currency, They've made the payouts a lot better for missions and all the PvP events and everything, so it's relatively easy to make money on here. And as far as the gold stuff, as I've talked about earlier, you can also make that pretty easily. So that's pretty much going to do it for everything that's been added to the game since release. I hope that if you stopped playing this when it first came out because you didn't enjoy it, that maybe this video has convinced you to come back and check it out. Or if you didn't enjoy it, or you heard some bad things about it, this has just compounded those beliefs, and you just are convinced you don't want to play it at all. So either way, I hope that you learned something. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I appreciate you stopping by to watch. I post a few videos about Red Dead occasionally, and I post a lot of other cool stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and follow me over on Instagram as well as on Twitch if you want to hang out with me a little bit over there. So appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time.